I'm Maria Menounos, and you're tuned in to AfterBuzz TV, the ESPN of TV talk. Now, let the buzz begin.
Hey, what's up, AfterBuzzers? We are back. The whole gang is here, complete panel, well-rounded for tonight's episode. This is the For Life After Show, Season 1, Episode 8, called Daylight. We've got so much to talk about, so I just at least want to get through introductions. I'll check on my people, see how y'all are feeling, and then we'll jump into the episode. First and foremost, Dot was not here last week, but she is back. How are you?
Hey, everybody. What's up? I'm great.
Okay, Dot has some big news. She just celebrated a birthday, so I'll shout that out. But then the rest of it will come into play with tonight's episode because it's
You know what? It probably will. Yes, I had a birthday, so I'm gonna put a ring on it.
Hey. Congratulations. Congratulations. All right, moving right along. Of course, Jeff Will is in the building. How you feeling, brother?
You know, I'm feeling a lot more single now that we've been talking about that. But, you know, we're out here in Redondo, so I'm living. But the episode was great.
Episode was really great. We definitely have questions for you on how you feel about your homeboy Darius and a lot that transpired.
Oh, yeah. That's my guy. That's my guy.
Yeah.
Now he's your guy. Homeboy. Now he's your guy.
For sure. And Jeff is definitely going to keep us with our special segment for Life and Back. And then Emily is here, of course. How you feeling?
I'm good. Busy day, busy weeks, trying to stay, sane and, positive. It's all
Living
good.
the quarantine life.
Living that quarantine life.
You got it. Well, Emily, of course, always covers news and gossip. My name is Keith Andre. I'm here to drive the boat, you guys. This episode pretty much had everything that I feel like we've been constantly talking about. So I was happy to see that. Overall, I think this was probably one of my favorite episodes. I think, Emily, you said last week may have been your favorite. What do you think now, having seen this one?
Oh, I feel like last week was still, I think, my favorite. I feel like this added extra layers to what I like about the show, but I don't know if this was my favorite yet.
Okay, that's fair enough. And Jeff, overall, what did you think about the episode?
I really like this episode. I don't know if I would call it my favorite. I'm like skeptical because like I feel like they gave us a lot in this episode. They gave us a resolution on the warden. They gave us like on the warden and her wife, how they were kind of like fighting last week. And they gave us the resolution on like him and his Aaron and his wife and Aaron's wife and homeboy from the corner that's like finally leaving, aka Darius. No, I mean like they gave us a lot of like conclusions. So I'm interested to see where do you go from here.
Okay, I'll take that note. And then for you, Dot, overall, what did you think? We missed you last week.
Oh man, I miss you guys too. I would say so far, this is my favorite episode. I think the complexity of the episode and all of the layers that they were pulling back. I think what was my favorite is just the honesty of that in-house jail life and just kind of seeing how things really are corrupted. And it really opened my mind to a lot of different things. And I loved seeing the action of 50 Cent. So it was really strong. So far, my favorite.
Okay, well, I love that you mentioned the jail life because tonight we'll talk about his life inside jail, life for the family outside, touch a little bit on the wardens. And we didn't really get much for Aaron's case, which was different. I thought that this was something different to see tonight. But to your point, we got to see a lot of action inside the jail, the corruption. I mean, let's start with, we all, me particularly, I've been looking forward to some kind of violence, some kind of action. What did you guys think about the whole shower sequence? Of course, 50 Cent had to do what he does best. But Jeff, what did you think? I know you're a big 50 Cent fan overall anyway, so how did you think about his character tonight?
50 just walked in like, what's good? You already know. You know who's running this. So he walked in, showed him what's good, and got off. And smiled doing it with the warden and everything. No, it was great to see. And we finally got it.
Yeah, it was about time we got to see some physical action. Emily, I see you nodding. What did you think with the fight sequence in the shower?
Yeah, I mean, there was the fight sequence in the shower, and I feel like we all kind of predicted that it probably would come from this character. And then this whole episode kind of had these moments of violence that we haven't really seen, even though this is like a prison drama. So I feel like this was the first episode that we actually really saw continuous, prison politics and, kind of how dangerous it really can be.
Yeah, they definitely took a turn. I know at one point where the guy was being tortured with the water, I was like, okay,
Mhm. Yeah.
where are we going here?
Oof.
But doubt for you, what did you think about seeing the violence and the fighting as well?
When I saw the fight, I initially was a little taken aback because I'm like, these are, these grown men are in here naked. Someone's going to slip and fall. That was my initial reaction.
That's not.
I really just liked the rawness of the fight. It was really just like straightforward. 50 really showed just he is the boss and he's really ruthless. And I really loved how it was tacky. I think it was very fitting for, jail. It was very true to life.
Yeah, and speaking of 50 Cent or his character Dawkins, I did want to ask because we saw that he kind of started the whole shower incident and then he was torturing the other guy. And I just was wondering, like, well, what do you guys think Dawkins' whole MO is? Like, why is he causing more trouble for himself? After Aaron has already went out of his way, because we know he had to get the phone back. But why do you think he is just causing trouble?
He said something really important that I actually wrote down. He said to Aaron that when he's outside of jail, he's no one. But when he's inside of jail, he kind of gets to be this Don. So I feel like when he's outside of this jailhouse, he almost feels like he has no power. And what he's found is a way to kind of empower himself. And it's only in this institution that he feels like some type of importance. I think it has nothing to do other than a mental issue of him feeling possibly abandoned or lonely or forgotten. And even though this attention is bad attention, no one should be doing these things, it's making him feel like he has a purpose.
Yeah, I love that. And there was a big debate, and that's something that we haven't seen that is realistic for a prisoner or a jail person between like the freedom. Aaron views it one way and we see Dawkins views it a completely different way. The line that I had wrote down was just when he said, the problem is you're more valuable to me here. So that's going to inform some of my predictions. But Emily, what did you think, or why do you think he is causing all this trouble?
Yeah, I mean, it's all about power for him. It's all about making sure that he can get what he wants when he wants it, when he's here in prison. So he's a manipulator. So he's going to go around and manipulate the people that he needs to in order. And he kind of did that with Aaron a little bit. And so you just see it's all a power trip for him. And like, like Dot said, like it's so much about making sure that you're like the top dog so that no one can come after you. But eventually there's going to be people that come after you. And you can only do something so much or so far. And again, he got transferred. So again, it's new people, but I feel like things all happen for a reason. And I think there is a reason he's here and causing trouble. And we kind of saw that a little bit in this episode.
Definitely. What about you, Jeff? What do you think?
Yeah, y'all hit it. He was literally just doing a power move. At the end of the day, to be the king, you got to let everybody know and show them. You can't just speak about it. You have to do something. And that's what he did. And he did it with a smile on his face. He showed the CEO, look, I'm running it and my people are on the outside. He showed the warden, I'm running it and you going to have to just watch because I'm with a smile on your face. And he showed every person since then. He showed Big Wild or whatever his name is.
Wild Bill.
Wild Bill. Big
Yeah.
Wild Bill. Either way, he showed them on multiple occasions. This is my jail cell, and you just gonna have to get in line.
Yeah, he definitely did. I think that's getting a little bit scary. One thing that I thought tonight was just you get to see how smart of a character of a person that Dawkins is. It's almost to the point where we saw Aaron doing a lot of kind of the playing catch up, like realizing something, but after the fact, after it had already occurred. And so we get to see some of that struggle for Aaron and, his issues with integrity by way of Dawkins. So we had saw like Dawkins with the CO, and then as a lawyer, Aaron then gets exposed to this information from the CO. And so with that kind of juggle, how do you guys, or where do you rate Aaron? I feel like he's done so much work these past few weeks to show himself as a good guy. as a good lawyer. And then we kind of saw tonight him take a turn, just doing what, of course, he had to do to get the phone back. So, Di, I see your face is starting to talk. So, what do you think as far as Aaron and how he's behaving now?
And that's why I think this episode captivated me so much, because we just see the evolution of Aaron, and we really see him at this point really just doing whatever he has to do, playing the game. I don't think that his integrity is there anymore. I think he's starting to see the corruption all throughout, on the outside and the inside. I think there's a little bit of brokenness and helplessness that he's dealing with that's really just making him like, it's whatever. And I felt like when Cassius came, and I had a prediction, I believe I said that they're going to somehow be working together. I think he's learning how this can, how he can use this to his advantage. It's not something we necessarily want to see. We don't want to see him be this crooked lawyer, but I think he's learning that in this game, that's how he believes he's going to make it to the top.
Yeah, and hopefully he has enough of that bad guy in him to kind of work it out. Because we even saw his homeboy, who I still haven't heard his name yet, but he was just he was kind of warning him in regard to like, you don't really want to get mixed up. And I feel like by the end of the episode, he saw that he's kind of like in this weird space with Dawkins. But Jeff, what do you think about Aaron's kind of character and integrity now?
I feel like we didn't learn anything new. I mean, in this episode, he didn't do anything out of character. If you think about it, when he went to the CEO, he went there, he's like, dog, I think you have something more you need to talk about. And he's like, why are you telling me all this? And what is the first thing he did when the CEO told him? He sat back down. He's like, dog, how'd you get yourself in this predicament? He was down there being person to person, not really necessarily trying to help, but trying to relate and trying to understand. Look, I understand you got yourself in this predicament. You need to make the decision to get yourself out or do what you need to do. I'm just here as a representative for my client. I'm not going to tell you either way. So he didn't really lose any character, integrity for me. He just did what he had to do.
Okay, it looks he's gonna have to keep doing what he has to do, is what it looked like to me. But Emily, what do you think about his integrity? Did it tell anything for you?
Again, I'm kind of with Jeff here, where I feel like he's been doing this all along. In the last few episodes, we might not have necessarily seen this type of move so blatant, but we've seen him do things in order to win a case that are kind of like on the edge of morality, where it's not quite going the doing it the right way. And so he's kind of mixing his book smart of being a lawyer and his street smarts together in order to kind of figure out the best strategy, because that's what you have to be street smart if you're going to survive in a prison system. You have to think about all of that structure and be really, know the politics of it all. And so he's just working all of those levels to figure out how he can, win these cases, even though he's in it for himself. For this one in particular, he's still, so it's kind of, I don't feel like we learned anything more except how he's perceived. That's the only thing that's shifted, that the warden in the end kind of has a different perception of who he is as a lawyer.
Oh, for sure. I think that's a great point to make. And I think too, Aaron has definitely come into this space of knowing that his responsibility is to himself first and just trying to do his due diligence. I know a few weeks ago we saw the episode where his witness, wasn't there because the date got changed. So maybe, this is another reason why he's just doing what he has to do to play the game and to win the game. So while he's doing that, though, let's talk about his life outside of prison, because we know he had signed the divorce paper, and we start, I guess, just with Marie sorting through her feelings, and just we do end up hearing the visit to the grandfather, or the grandfather's visit gets revealed. I was happy about that because we had said, well, she didn't say it, he didn't say it. So I wanted to see that. But so let's talk about Marie and Jasmine before we get to Marie and Darius. Dot, what were your thoughts on just seeing the world outside of prison?
I really was surprised with Marie not sharing the information about the divorce papers sooner. Totally understood where Jasmine was coming from. Also saddened because you could tell that Jasmine really had hope that her parents would somehow, make it or try to get back together. Oh, he signed the divorce papers, or I was like, okay, I think that if you were at that point, she should have been a little bit more vocal and a little bit more honest with Aaron so that he could assess the situation a little bit more accurately.
Yes,
Yeah.
I love that. I think that's true too. And just with the whole Jasmine, I was just like, well, your mother has been in a relationship with another man all this time. So what exactly did you expect? I just didn't understand that, but I still appreciated the conversation that she had with her mother, just in terms of her like you still love him. But Jeff, what do you think about seeing them and how they acted in response to that news?
Yeah, like I don't understand why. I understand she got mad that she didn't know, but to say that like my parents are getting a divorce, I mean, he's in jail. She's like been dating the dude. You literally like he knows your whole meal for delivery. Like, come on, he's in your house. So
Yeah.
that was kind of weird. But like her being mad that she didn't find out from the mom is realistic. I could just see that. Um, but like it also takes time to understand what just happened because you're not even thinking about it. You like to be honest, she probably forgot about it. It's been 2 years. She's been going there, focused on the court case and all this in the third, and like it's probably on the last thing on her mind, last thing on anybody's mind until it popped up.
Okay. And
Yeah.
Emily, what did you think?
Yeah, I mean, I think both of you guys are right in the sense of she Jasmine, the daughter's dealing with it's emotional no matter how old you are when your parents say, make it known like, hey, we're gonna get a divorce. And so I get that she's about to embark on her own journey of motherhood. And so this is another layer to that is confusing and really emotional. And so I can see how she's upset that her mom didn't tell her and like say, hey, we're going to make this official. But I feel like deep down she should have known, like, hey, my mom's dating someone else, it's been a while, they're pretty serious, but as she's only 16, so it's that point where so, like deep down inside sometimes you wish there's a little glimmer of hope. And so I feel like that's what they were trying to portray here.
For sure, for sure. And she definitely is young. I forgot, just because she's pregnant doesn't mean that she's not a young girl. So she still has a lot of growing up to do and just maturing in that way. Before we jump into Darius's response, because I thought it was interesting, and I think that does answer just kind of the question in regard to, I know, Jeff, you were just talking about she probably forgot, but when he realized that it wasn't something that she asked him for, he had issues there. But I wanted to ask, because she then tried to tell him that they just needed to wait until she had the baby and then like they were going to get divorced. Do y'all think that she was lying to herself or buying like more time? Dot, what you think about that?
Definitely buying more time. That what does that have to do with anything, sis? I can't even give you no type of credit there. Good one.
Yeah.
Okay.
That was a pretty good excuse, but she was buying time and not being honest with herself. I feel like she knew right away when she received those papers, oh goodness, like I still love Aaron. So I feel like she knew and has always known deep down. And even though I did predict Aaron would sign the papers, but I did not predict what happened in this episode. So
okay,
we're all getting
news for sure. Jeff, what's your take?
No, I just agree with you because like she lied to herself. She still hasn't like fully said that she loves Aaron. When her daughter asked, she was like,
yeah. Well, I think she knew. I mean,
fade to black.
I
like,
guess
that's
so.
pretty much
I
what
mean,
happened. And like, so she's lying. Like, she can't even be honest with herself yet. And then she's like, obviously trying to prolong this. And then Darius, I mean, well, like you said, we're gonna get into that. So he's not.
We're going there. So go ahead. We're going right into Darius with his response, because I wasn't expecting this. I didn't see this coming. Even when he went into the room and repeated her order and just said how much he He loved them. So Jeff, A, do you finally see or can we agree that he does love this family? And B, what do you think about his response and the decision that he made for himself?
First off, when did I ever say he doesn't love the family?
I just get a lot of hate from you in regard to him. So
don't put
Go
so
ahead,
much
Chris.
on me. He loved the family. Hey, he
Okay.
loved the family, but the family don't love him back though. That's the problem.
Oh,
The family just don't love him back. Not the way he loves them, at least. No, but
harsh.
it's true though. That's the frustrating part about it. And he's coming to realize that like they love him like a family member, but not like a father and not like a lover. That is how it is. Like he's always gonna be there. He's family because he's been there for years. He knows the order. But at the end of the day, she still wants her father back, and Marie still wants her husband back because that's who she fell in love with. And it's crazy, but like I mean, I known that's what his move was gonna be. He's always been second guessing it since day one. That's why he didn't ask for the ring. That's why he was kind of forced into the proposal. Like he was kind of he already knew. He's not finding a reason. He knew that this reason was happening and he just needed a verification. And he got that check
Almost
mark
as
today.
if he knew it. He just needed a way to execute it. Just was waiting
Yeah.
for it to happen.
I mean,
Dot,
he
what
kind
you
of needed
think?
that confirmation.
Yeah, for sure.
For me, it was a really interesting turn of events. I think what I got from the previous episodes from Darius was that he really wanted Marie to separate from Aaron. And in my mind, it was because he wanted to take things further. I totally saw him actually going to go ahead and propose. And I was really confused when that kind of switched and that kind of changed. But I think it all came down to he knew if that divorce paper was signed, he was going to have to ultimately make a decision. And I think this is where his loyalty really came in. And I think he started to consider Aaron and decided that this may not be the best thing to do.
Ooh.
It was very interesting and I loved it because it wasn't predictable.
Absolutely. Emily, what's your take on the whole Darius response?
I mean, I was totally thrown off by his response. I'm questioning whether, because when he said goodbye he didn't say goodbye to Jasmine, but he said, "Oh, I want to let you know I love your mom and you know, and you."
Mm-hmm.
And for me, it felt like a goodbye. It felt like the subtext of that was like, "Hey, I just want to let you know I love you. I'll always love you." And then, you know, and then he made, and then then he was like, "Bye." So, so it felt like it was, and we don't know what's in the letter. I feel like we'll learn next week what's in there, but I feel like it's his, like, "Hey, you," to Marie, like, "You have to make this decision for yourself. I can't make it." And then Dot, I really do agree that I think his loyalty and like his conscience was like, "Hey, this is gonna, I'm gonna lose a friend here if I continue with this." So I felt like it really threw me off.
I have a question. So you said, what?
I feel like I know exactly what you're gonna say.
So
what, Jeff?
So Darius left because he didn't want to ruin the friendship. Is that what the thing is?
No, I don't think that's what they're saying.
Okay.
No.
Jeff was gonna say he'd been lost the friendship.
No. Not lose the friendship, but he'll feel guilty. He'll feel guilty.
I agree, Emily. I think that was not just feeling guilty, but I think the way that he did it kind of indicates that it's something that he couldn't really face. And it could be for plenty of reasons. Some of the reasons could be because he has developed this relationship with Marie and her daughter. And some of it also could be because this is his friend. He still kind of is rooting for that. You know, we could debate, Jeff, you can do as many faces as you want. But
you look like you're going to pounce at us.
But it doesn't matter. I think it does show that, I am hoping, while I do feel that this was a goodbye, I kind of would like to see more of him just because of the exit. I really didn't like that. Like believing the no and like putting a ring out. It's like, come on, you gotta do more.
I mean, you've been together a long time.
We just got dumped twice. That's the whole time I was looking at that. I said, how'd she go from having 2 men to none all in 2 episodes?
Well, that's why the voiceover was like, and then you have to start all over. Start from the beginning.
it was just such a weak move. Like he never went to go talk to Aaron. Like he just left. He's like, I guess she just like doesn't love me. Like what? Over these past 2 years, you never walked up and like, dog, sign these papers, or talk to her. Hey, you ain't like, did he sign the papers? Like, it's
Yeah,
just
we'll
soft.
see. I
Like,
don't know if
no,
this is the
I mean, if he left, if he's gone for good, it's his MO because he's just soft right now.
okay.
It's
I
so
mean, I'll
like,
take it.
but it's
We'll
all
definitely
about
get to see.
communicating though.
Maybe
Like,
We'll see where the communication leads. I honestly am still holding out hope. I don't think that this is the last time we'll see him on the show because I feel like she will have a response to him. But Emily, you mentioned the voiceover, so we could talk for I guess 2 seconds just about because that's all the time we got on Aaron's case tonight anyway. But hearing the voiceover, I was like, oh, this is different because his lawyer, who I found out tonight, his name is Henry, did the voiceover, and we got to see. So they're digging into some story from the 90s that kind of connects it. I don't know what they're talking about. I wanted to kind of just check in and see if you guys have any ideas or what did you gauge on the situation with the old lawyer and how that's going to like connect back to Aaron's case.
yeah. So I was thinking about this when it opened up, when the episode opened up with this type of moment. And I don't know if you guys remember in I think it was like the first or second episode, we have this, they showed the highlight of it, that he is like internally kind of contemplating, what he did in previous, in his previous job, and like they did corrupt stuff. And so I feel like this is his lawyer trying to redeem himself. And so he's trying to go back to this case that he know, or this article that he is about a case, I believe, in order to know that this is the crack that will open up a bunch of other cases and reopen them because there's problems in the justice system.
Yeah,
And
I think
so
it's interesting that we're getting new story because now we're getting a whole, whole nother element kind of this late in the game. And also I did just make note, just everybody is kind of like doing whatever they have to do to redeem themselves. This is clearly, like you said, Henry, his lawyer's whole quest just to kind of do right by his past. Jeff, what did you think?
I think this is, well, one, that, but I think it's also a way for Aaron to kind of show the judge in a future case that, hey, this DA continues to do this stuff. He's a known, like a known person to do these things. So that way, when he does have his case, he's like, oh, no, he's known to do this. This is why. Here are the cases, point blank and period. Now get me out of here.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like, here's 50 cases that I can prove that this DA, that this lawyer, did some bad stuff.
Yeah. And any thoughts from you, Dot, on that whole
I
element?
agree with both Jeff and Emily. And I will just say, I hope that they continue with the voiceover so that I can be more familiar with them. Anytime you add a new element to a show, it is a little bit of a distraction, especially because that voice didn't sound like one that I knew. So if they're going to add that element, I just hope that they continue it and that it's not something that's jolting here and there, because that can really pull my focus. And I've been so engaged that I just wouldn't want that to happen.
Yeah, the majority of the voiceovers have been Aaron, and so it's interesting that they switched it up this time.
For sure. And then lastly, before we jump into special segment time, with the warden, because I'm like, gosh, ever since I made mention of her, we've just been seeing more and more and more. So I don't like her wife. I don't think that she's a good person. But we did get to see kind of things turn around for them and how it's like working on this case is good for everybody. It's good for the warden's wife. It's good for warden. It's good for Aaron. So what do you guys think, Jeff, just about seeing more of the warden and that whole family dynamic?
I think the warden's wife is really good at math, because if you're good with your wife, that means you're good in the jail cell. And if you're good in the jail cell, that means you can pivot. And like, she's just playing all her cards right. And she kind of slipped up and kind of told her wife a little bit too much. Now her wife's like, oh, so her team is kind of agreeing with this. This is why you're really into it. You're not really there because you love me and you want to kind of make this work. Like, no, this works for you. And it like differentiates you from your competitor. Like, come on, there's more to this. Like, you're playing chess and like, we know, come on now.
For sure. What about you, Emily? I know that you like the whole warden dynamic.
Yeah, I mean, I love the warden. I love seeing her character develop over these last few episodes. And I feel like this episode was the most that we've seen in her family life. And I think, Jeff, you're right that her wife kind of has she's out for herself, and she is using the warden for her advantage. And it's like she's running a campaign. She's running for the DA, right, or assistant DA. So she's gonna try to get as much information that she wants, but she's not really kind of considering the effects that it has on her wife, and so that's not good. So, but I love seeing the warden kind of take charge and kind of really. She is what I like is the opposite effect that she has. So in her home life, she's a very different personality than she is in the prison and when she's in charge. And so it was interesting seeing their dynamic. It's like bringing your partner to work. It's like you have a different dynamic. So I loved seeing that in this episode.
Yeah, it changes things for sure. And then because we didn't get to hear what you thought about her last week. So now that you've seen both episodes, what's your opinion of their whole? Are they necessary?
I'm actually really loving the development of the warden, and I'm actually really liking who she is, just because now I'm really starting to see the stress that she has, not only at work, but in her workplace, to be in a point of leadership over this complete chaos and still be able to hold your own. And as a woman, I'm really developing a respect for her. She's over all these men, she's over all these prisoners who are, for the most part, respecting her. No one's gotten too out of line. But I want to agree with Emily in the sort of fact that when she's at home, she seems to be the more submissive one. And when she's in the workplace, she's dominant. So I would love to see what that switch is, or whether that's her wife is the one who's kind of influencing her and she's taking that back. But I love seeing that she is a different person, and she growing on me, honestly, truly.
I'm here for it. I'm here for it. We'll see. I mean, definitely when we get to predictions, I think we should have something to do with the warden. And is she going to win or is she going to lose? But before we get there, let's definitely jump into our special segment for Life and Back. Jeff, what's going on today?
Yes, appreciate you. For this episode, for this segment for Life and Back is when we highlight stories or people that have been wrongfully imprisoned or anything to do with police brutality, mass incarceration, and all of that. And this story that I'm going to tell you is right in line. And I had the blessing of being part of the Kim Kardashian, the what is it called? The
Justice Project.
The Justice Project. Thank you. So this aired this past Sunday, and it was all about mass incarceration. And she highlighted different stories that were heartbreaking to hear about, but it was upbringing to see that they were able to go back with their families for most cases. Obviously, there's still some that are pending, but it was great to see that she's using her platform for such a great cause and being. It was shown on TV, and you would think it's Kim Kardashian. A lot of people would think it's more about her, but I've watched the episode. You could say what you want, but it was all about them. It was not about her. It was all about them. And it was a great show. And I just applaud her.
Yeah, I love that. I started watching it today. Actually, I didn't finish
That's awesome.
it. But it was on my list of things to do. Yeah.
It was on Oxygen on Sunday, this past Sunday, but it's a documentary. So it's on demand. I'm sure it's streaming all over the place.
And it's just crazy to see too, those just different elements of kind of what makes up. It really allows us to look at the criminal justice system differently and start to see people as people, because it's at that level to where we get enough of connection to realize like, oh, well, maybe this isn't the best thing, or maybe, there's a reason that they're here or their time is served. So yeah, I love that a lot.
In that 2-hour documentary, they told us about 6 different people and their families' lives and everything, how like their whole family was affected. So it really kind of went full circle, seeing that family dynamic in real life and then our what we see in our show.
Great. Well, if you haven't seen it, you could definitely check it out. Shout out to Kim Kardashian West. How about that? She's a person that's always, in the news. So it's nice to see that she does use her platform now in a way that, is really kind of newsworthy. Emily, do we have any news and gossip that you saw this week?
Yeah, so a few days ago, Variety announced that another show of Curtis Jackson, 50 Cent, will be greenlit for Stars. and it's called Black Mafia Family.
Ooh.
And this is a drama. It's a family. Let's see. This project. So it's inspired by two brothers who rose from the decaying streets of Southwest Detroit in the 1980s, and it gave birth to one of the most influential crime families in the country. And so it goes through all of the stories behind that. And so it's greenlit, and this is a project that Curtis has been incredibly passionate about, and we're excited to have him partner in bringing it to life. And that was the CEO of Stars talking about this project. So
Wow.
That's
yeah,
really cool.
so another show that is greenlit, and he'll be, and 50 Cent will be the executive producer again. So just
No
getting all those
slowing down for
projects
him.
out, and we'll have to keep an eye out on it.
I hadn't heard of that one. Jeff, had you heard anything about this show?
Not yet. I knew he had some spin-offs, but I don't know if there's like an original or like original program, like series or not, but I haven't heard about this one.
Yeah, so this is an original program, so it's
I
going to
love
be
it.
interesting to see that develop. And I know he was hired a few years ago to kind of help develop programs and shows for them. So I'm interested to see what this one's about.
Yeah, he does a lot of work with Stars. He's got a great relationship. I think it'll be interesting to see, like, why it's with Stars. We know he has this show and it's still here. So if they're waiting on something to do more work with like ABC or other networks, but I'm not sure. Last, real quick before we get out of here, I do want to get to predictions. Like I said, something about the Warden, maybe season finale-ish, or what do you guys think we'll see in the next episode? We'll start with Dot.
Oh, okay. My prediction is going to be about Darius. I really think this next episode is when we are going to see him actually go and talk to Aaron.
Okay. And what about you, Jeff?
I got a lot less faith than she does, but I feel like 50 is gonna cause more problems. He said he wants Aaron in the jail cell, so Aaron's gonna be in that jail cell.
And Emily, what's your quick prediction?
Yeah, so I think Cassius is going to cause Aaron to extend his term, his prison sentence. Like something's going to happen.
Ooh, yeah, I think that he's going to have a conflict with Dawkins' character. I don't know if he'll be able to do enough to maybe get him out of there, or probably not. Dawkins is around that he's just going to have to really be working for him. It seemed like scary, like I said, with him saying like, the problem for you is that you're more valuable to me here. It sounds like he's going to do everything that he can to keep Aaron in jail. So we will have to see. We can definitely check it out next week. That's all the time we have here. We'll be back, of course, next Wednesday at 9 p.m. PST. You can follow all of us on social media. Jeff, where are you at?
Yeah, they can continue the conversation at Jeff Well Jr. on all your social media platforms.
And Dot, how about you?
You guys can follow me and let's ask questions and talk more about For Life at McDonald on all social media platforms.
Okay, and then Emily, where are you at?
You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Emily May Heller.
All right, and my name on all social media platforms is Keith_Andre. Maybe I'll start like a Twitter question because I do want to talk more about Dot and her life because everything is just changing. Again, congratulations to you, and we'll see you guys later.
All right, bye.
Peace.
Our founder, Keven Undergaro, and me, Maria Menounos, would like to thank you for tuning in to AfterBuzz TV. Remember, we're not just the first, we're the biggest in the world, and we're the only destination for all your favorite TV shows. Whatever you crave, we've got it. So go to AfterBuzzTV.com and check out our lineup. Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.